Okay. Hello and welcome to Healing Chiron. I'm Kimberly and this is my co-host Taylor. And today, under the umbrella of Healing Chiron, I was hoping that Taylor would share a little bit about her journey the last maybe, I don't know, 3-6 months, however long maybe you can put in there, and tie in your Chiron wounding and placements and your human design. Like, kind of take us through your journey and how these tools that you've used, how you've personally incorporated them, if you could, please.
Sure. So I have Chiron and Leo in the 11th house, which shows up as having a difficult time owning your gifts and stepping through, being seen and kind of sharing your gifts with community and groups, things like that in the 11th house. I joined improv, signed up for some classes a couple weeks ago, but I attended like my first improv jam or something maybe like a month or two ago. And improv, like I have fallen in love with improv, and um it's been such a beautiful like addition to all of the other tools and kind of understanding. So I'm a 5-1 manifester in human design, and unpacking all of that has has been quite
Yeah.
the backpack for sure.
Yeah.
But improv has been a tool that really catalyzed a lot of integration for me. I felt like for the longest time, and anyone, who's doing this work knows you go in waves of things where you're kind of in it and then you're up and then you're in it and up. But for me, I was really in a place of feeling kind of stuck. Like I wasn't really connecting things that were there. Like I had pieces and parts, and intellectually I had it and was doing it, but it was more of the embodiment piece that was really needing to be integrated for me. So improv came up last year, and I was sharing with Kim before we started recording. My nervous system wasn't regulated enough at that point to step into that. That felt like too big of a jump at that point. And so over the last, 6 months or so, whatever that timeline is, I've really been working on my nervous system regulation and doing some smaller things that feel safer and just more gentle to my nervous system than kind of just jumping into that. Um, but yeah, so I've been taking a few classes, and we were chatting kind of before recording just how quick it's been for me of really like seeing myself, understanding how other people are seeing me. And I think I'd kind of made the joke, like I've been the only one who hasn't been seeing myself. Like I really became aware, which this is embarrassing, but like
Yeah.
this is real life.
It's very much real life. Yeah,
Like,
very much real life. So maybe let's maybe take a second, and also that you're a manifester,
yes,
5-1.
yes.
So a manifester, maybe tie how because for those of us maybe hearing about human design for the
Oh,
first time, maybe explain how that plays in there.
oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's beautiful. So as a manifester, essentially, or 5-1 manifester, I essentially receive projections from the field about who I am and what I'm doing and all of that. 5-1 manifestors are here to lead and to inform. They're here to take action, like inspired action when it feels right for them. And then kind of like just let the chips fall and let it roll. Um,
Mhm.
and as someone that's been working through complex trauma from, different ages and stages, really honing in on 0 to 5 these last 3 years, um,
Mhm.
that has been just an awakening of understanding. Because I had been in my shadow self, I had been in people pleasing, I had been making sure the room was comfortable for all the reasons and seasons we do that.
Yeah.
And improv really gave me the awareness because I was receiving feedback, from the instructors and different things. And I thought, holy shit, wait a second. Like I was like, oh my, like this is me. Yeah. Okay. Like this is me. Um, but
Yeah.
a few
Yeah.
things had to come together, I think, to really integrate that. And I think one
Mhm.
was following something that my inner child was excited about. And she loves being it's Chiron and Leo, right? Tying
Yep.
that back. Like my inner child loves performing. She loves the arts. Like she loves
Mhm.
being creative. She loves the stage. Like give me a microphone. Like
Yeah.
I'll just fucking take the whole I don't know.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I'm a Leo, by the way, with the sad rising. So, and I have a Chiron winning in Aries, so lots of fire. So when I see my fellow, like just this juiciness of this fire come alive and that Leo just owning it, it just, oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
It
I
was like I
fucking love
had
it.
to, like, listen to that. Well, step 1, I'll break it down in steps how it happened because this
Yeah.
was not, like, just something I jumped into, but one
Yeah.
was nervous system regulation, to even be able to hear what my inner child was saying, to even be able to, you know, like, honor that space, right? That takes a lot of nervous system regulation, and that's a lot of deep work for however long that takes to get to the
Mhm.
next point that you wanna
Mhm.
expand into. So one, nervous system regulation, two, listening and being like, oh, okay, I need to listen to myself, like not listen to other people and what they want. So honoring like my manifester self who is like, nope, it's me. I'm the one that people actually need to be listening to. So I need to start listening to me in order for that to happen, which is
Mhm.
hilarious. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, okay, I want to do improv. Like this came up. My inner child loves this. And then also a big piece of it was stepping through that fear because when I first joined the class, like I was very dysregulated and I was picking up a lot of what was in the room. I am
Mhm.
very sensitive energetically. And so I had to kind of sit with that. But the third piece, which I
Mhm.
think was divinely orchestrated always, was the instructor who is teaching the class, one of the instructors. Um, Genuinely, I feel like safe in his energy where there's not like any of that looping that's going on or any of the stories. And
Mhm.
so putting all these pieces together and having him be someone that I'm willing to receive feedback from as a manifester. Um,
Mhm.
we don't like to be directed. We don't like to be told what to do. That's a big piece. And for it to be male, too, honestly,
Yeah.
is so supportive and nourishing to me.
Yeah.
Like, not
That's
even.
wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, you can talk about
That's
18
wonderful.
or father stuff. Like, there's so much that's there, but
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's so powerful, and sometimes I always regret that we don't start recording earlier because we have some really just fabulous conversations, and then I'm always like, "Shit." Um, but I've actually known Taylor for quite
mm,
some time, and to watch this, I met her even before, like, she hadn't even moved out to Arizona. Um, it was I don't even know that your divorce was final. It was or you just were divorced.
I was just divorced. Yeah, I was 3 months out of a divorce. Yes, I
Yeah.
was divorced during COVID.
Yeah. And so, I've gotten to know Taylor over the years. I read tarot for her every once in a while. And um, I've shared with her my journey of when I found the artist way and how much it changed my life. And we were talking before, like I said, before we got on air, that just the power of creativity
Yeah.
and the power of play. And even if you don't like to journal, get some fun coloring pencils and I don't know, something, but in those creative juices, there's just so much opportunity for the deep healing. And like you said before, but getting to that place where you've done enough of the deep work so that you could hear your inner child and honor um, what she's saying. And then so maybe explain the difference. I mean, the mind, body, spirit connection, something that you've never felt it, or you felt it maybe here and there, and now you're feeling it continuously, or is that like there's a
That's
flow now maybe that there wasn't before with that connection?
I think I'm still navigating that flow for sure. The biggest piece for me right now is the action step. So I'm
Yeah.
really
Aligned
um,
action.
in the action phase. I am brilliant at coming up with ideas and seeing the visions and having the like, this is where we're going, guys. And that's partly that manifester self. That's partly other
Mhm.
pieces of my personality. But the steps to actually kind of manifesting that vision or bringing it into reality can be challenging for me in the 3D, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Mhm.
And I've been writing, and so
You
that
wrote a book.
yes, I did write a book. It is being published. I'm going to be so excited to talk more about it in the future.
Didn't
But
mean to put you on the spot. I just wanted to do
that's
a little,
okay.
like,
Oh yes,
ding,
this
ding,
works.
ding, ring the
Um,
bell for my girl.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, I wrote, you're so funny. I wrote a poetry book. It's currently titled I Held My Mother's Pain. And it's a journey of really ancestral healing of my maternal lineage and what that looks like for me. What I came in with this lifetime and how I've navigated that. This is obviously improv is a step into that. And I think one thing that really came into my awareness, like understanding the action piece, is that we really do, and like regardless of gender, because I don't necessarily want to make it feminine and masculine, but like
Mhm.
to really honor that sacral space, to really honor that creative space, like you do need containers and people that see you and encourage that space.
Mhm.
For me right now, it's so beautiful that it's showing up as male. It's really healing
Yeah.
for me in that way to have someone that I trust to receive feedback from and to be able to grow.
Mhm.
It's making me feel like I've needed a male therapist my whole life and didn't know it. But like, just but I think respecting that, right? Like I've noticed for me, like just to have someone that you value, like a male that you value their
Yeah.
opinion and to
Yeah.
really support that. Like we all need that. Like we
Yeah.
all need
Yes.
people who can support this creative
Yeah.
vision for all of us, like whatever that looks like. And
Yeah.
honestly, like I wasn't really aware of that prior to joining improv. Like I knew that, like I had the pieces and I do the
Mhm.
journals and all of that, but there really is something about the actual action step of like
Mhm.
integrating it fully into your body and in your system. I love being in my head. I could live in my head all day with all of
Yeah.
creative juices that live up there and all these ideas and get spun out
Mhm.
all day and live in fantasy land. I love it. But I
I
think
should also say that Taylor and I are both 5/1s. I'm a
oh,
generator, however, and we're both INFJs in the personality type for MTBI. And so
mhm,
that's very common for us to have this incredible landscape up here because our intuitive sensor, it's internal. So it's we're very comfortable up there. It's where the unicorns live.
seriously. And honestly, I love that you're a generator though, because I feel like you get to do like you have like the ability to like spread that, right? Like I'm over here just like still like all in the idea space as a manifester. So I like that's so beautiful for your chart that you have the generator piece of it.
Yeah, and so we're just responding to life. Where you inform, I respond.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
maybe we should do a show on human design sometime. I kind of jumped into throwing all this together.
That's okay.
But hey, that's the way it's going. We're
People
just going
who
with the flow. We're having fun over here.
people who see
Um,
it know, they'll know. They'll
yeah,
look it up if they don't. It's fine.
yeah. So it is I just have loved human design. I worked on a project, Unicorn Way, with a manifester, and she's still very much a dear friend of mine.
Mhm.
But what we learned through human design and the dynamics of a generator and a manifester working together and having to have some kind of, not kind of, but some hard conversations at times, but we were both committed to the relationship, the partnership, and by looking at the designs, we were able to work through things and not take things personally and understand that that's just our design. So by detaching and understanding those energetics, we moved through some very complicated times in our friendship, and I am so grateful that we were able to do that, and have learned so much since then about human design. And a lot of companies are actually starting to use it either in place of or with the MTBI.
Yeah, and to me, it seems like a duh, Kim. Like, and again, that
Mhm.
could just be like, my background and all of that of like, this is stuff that just it's like a duh. How else would
Right.
you
Yeah.
understand how to run a company, how to be in a relationship? Like
Yeah.
every
Mhm.
single person before even getting in a partnership should like just check out your charts, check out check out all the things and decide if this is going to be
And
something that you both want to do.
I would say also look into attachment trauma.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yes, of course.
Yeah, so add that to the list. And
Naturally. Oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and have but be able to then committed to conversation, and it's this is a great time to do it. We are in a Mercury and Virgo. It's a great time for, actually I think astrologically it's kind of showing that this is the time where tough conversations they're just going to be had.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that would
Um
make a lot of sense for what's showing up. I was gonna say,
yeah.
just make like a little joke about the attachment thing. It's like unconsciously you already picked your mirror. So it's like you already, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
that is already gonna be, it's
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I yeah, working on that one. It's like, I think I'm pretty close to being good to get back out there. But my first two times back out in the dating field were a little bit like, I think it's some stuff came up, even like 15-year-old stuff that like
Mhm.
this last year, and I've said it many times since October, and everything really up until even till the next eclipses are have really been fourth and 10th house, a lot relationship and career.
Mhm.
And for sure relationship was more of focus. And well, no, both. But I'll tell you, it's kind of embarrassing when you're like, I just acted like a 15-year-old. I thought I dealt with all that.
I honestly think that's the whole point, like, is
Hmm.
picking someone that you can evolve with, and I think that's
Yeah.
what's so funny is so many people feel like partnerships or getting into partnerships, and people have different goals, so, like, whatever works for you, like, some people are just trying to have kids, some people are needing
Yeah.
security, like, I mean, whatever, right? No judgment, but, like,
Yeah.
I
For
think
sure.
in the grand scheme of things, like, picking someone who really like is that person that has the ability to trigger you, right? But is also
Mhm.
that like space to be able to
Yeah.
move through that together is the whole point. It's not,
Yeah.
I think, what everyone thinks partnership is meant to be.
No, I think that that's a lot of deep programming. I mean, I even in my well, my only marriage, ex marriage, um, y- yeah, I mean, there was some definite, I don't want to say Disney princess. Yeah, it was some of that. I mean,
Mhm.
there was kind of a fairy tale gloss over to it, and the potential. I guess maybe that's a better way of putting it. And then the awareness of like, yeah, I'm just not doing potential again. So
Mhm.
whatever that means, for whatever boundaries I need to set and clean
Yeah,
off the rose-colored glasses, whatever that is, yeah.
yeah. 100%. It's so funny.
Nobody's responsible for my happiness.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
listening to 2 things. One was about hope, and I don't remember where I heard this, so I apologize because I'm not gonna cite it accurately, but I remember listening to something recently about, like, there's a certain point where, like, you have to let hope go, like, where, like, you need to kind of live in a different space, and it makes me think of, so I was listening to Rob Bell's podcast, a little while ago, and he did an episode about like being fierce with reality and
Mm,
saying like this is like showing up like being fierce with like what is like what's happening, and that was such a like a reality check for me for someone who likes to live in fantasy land and likes to live in their
mhm.
mind and like
The
all
wishful
of
thinking kind of that we pick up as a lot of us that have
yeah
CPTSD anyway. Wishful thinking is a common survival tool.
Sure, and, like,
Yeah.
you sharing, like, the potential, right? The potential of
Yeah.
someone. It's like, okay, well, we're not really accepting who this person is if we're living in potential. It means we're still not in reality. So it's like feeling into that space and, like, really looking at that, doing, the things to kind of, okay, if I want a partnership and I don't want this partnership again, like, what's in between that
Mhm.
space?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been an interesting season this
Yeah.
last month, I will say, and I mean,
Mhm.
I love Virgo season, it's my favorite season, so, I mean,
Yeah.
let's bring it, let's bring these
Let's
hard
do it.
conversations
It
to it.
has been, starting I mean, April, it started getting pretty. I mean, it's been a pretty, I love it because I love going deep with the archetypes when I'm on the other side of it. When I'm
Yeah.
in the when I'm in the chrysalis and it's just negro and it's just the slime and the goo of primordial existence and I'm down there with the muck, it's like, "Fuck this shit, I quit." And then it's like, well, what are you going to do when you quit? No, you're not quitting.
I know.
Just sit in it a little longer.
I've been waiting.
There is a transition. You do know that. I've done this enough times. But I
Yeah.
will doubt it. I there's no way I'm going through another death and rebirth. I've already done the dark night of the soul. It's like, okay, shut up. You have Persephone conjunct your sun. This isn't going to be the last time you go through this, Kim.
No, and, like, that's what's so beautiful and, like, you saying that because it's funny, like, you bringing up because I think about that all the time about myself because 'cause I'm like, "Why am I still in this space? Why am I still, like, doing this thing?" It's like, now we're on to improv, but I'm still here in the shit, and I'm like, "What is happening?" But honestly, and I think my personality, and this is what's so funny, is, like, I feel like my personality is very death and rebirth. I feel in this lifetime, I
Mhm.
am going to constantly be
Yeah.
showing up in different identities in different ways.
Yeah.
And I don't know how or why. I don't know if that's the open G or whatever that is of just kind of like
Well,
having
five
different.
ones, a lot of five, the Leo, there's so many aspects of that, which is why when you connect with that true north, you just keep attracting the experiences that are going to keep and sometimes we veer off. We're human. It's not like it's a perfection,
Yeah.
although our Virgo placements would, we
Yeah.
can project ourselves or even are projected on a lot of times as having perfection type qualities, and
Yeah.
I've that's that's part of, I think, being wanting to be a grower and achiever is there's parts of you that, and that will make other people feel uncomfortable.
Do
It's
you
not
want?
our problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm really learning it's not my problem this week.
Right?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Um, no, what I was gonna share, and it's so funny, it just clicked for me. Again, thank you for sharing the Virgo placement. I'm like,
Mhm.
duh, you have Virgo rising. So I'm like,
Yeah,
of course that dick at the gym made that comment to you. Like, it's like
that's right.
that's what people are seeing. And so whether I feel like a
That's
Virgo
right.
or not, which I don't feel very Virgo, but I feel my mind feels very Virgo, but like my
Yeah.
insides feel very like Sagittarian and like just different. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
it's
and that
funny.
fire and that's
Mhm.
what's, in our charts, we look at it because it's earth, wind, fire, water. We're looking to balance that out. And by continually kind of looking at patterns and parts of those charts, there's so much know thyself knowledge in these tools. And what's also fun about it is that there's so many, everybody can just go find their own individual. What does your inner child like to do? I think with the Leo and stuff, we just have so many similarities in so many ways. And for
Mhm.
me, I have third house Chiron in Aries. I think I said that earlier.
Yeah.
And so speaking has been something that starting back when I did the artist way the first time, which was like 25 years ago, here I am. And, while a lot of things may look different, and I certainly look, different. I'm how many years older? It's still the same true north. It's still the true north. It's
Yeah.
still my true north. And
Yeah.
that's what's beautiful about when you know thyself and you find your true north and you get to be I love the phrase self-healer. I do. I love
Yeah.
it.
Maybe share your three, like your so people know, and I'll share my three.
Sure. I am a Leo Sag rising moon Cancer.
Um, I love your Cancer moon.
Well, definitely I'm glad we're out of Cancer season. And I would like to think that going forward, I am not going to have such a complicated relationship with my masculine and feminine. I do feel like this last bit through the, in that chrysalis and coming out of it, that there is truly has been a divine union that I've experienced. And I did mention to you that up until maybe 8 months ago, I never looked in the mirror, and when I said I love you, meant it, and continually said that and meant it, and showed up for myself in ways that I would have never given myself permission to show up
Mhm.
for. So, but the Cancer part of it is always, I have a stellium there too. So my
Mhm.
moon and Cancer are both exalted. So it's like getting your king and queen to get along and run the empire. It's like,
Aw,
okay, I think we finally made some serious progress here.
that's really sweet. I am a Taurus sun, Taurus moon, Virgo rising. And I have my sun is in the ninth house. My moon is in the eighth house.
I love it. I love
And
it.
my rising is the first house. So
I love it.
first, yeah.
Yeah, I've always, and just watching you grow through this, and because I see it as having that many earth placements in like the top three, to have you kind of see you grow through it and own that earth,
Woo.
and then just like spark it up with that fire. It's just been such a beautiful alchemy.
Oh,
I've-
thanks.
It's beautiful.
I still feel like my masculine is learning how to show up for my feminine. I will say that. I definitely feel
Mhm.
like I'm still, and I know that's not something that is just, I mean, obviously this is a lifelong thing, but just in the
Sure.
phase that I'm in right now of noticing kind of the patterns and the people that are showing up, I'm definitely been more attracted to like males who are leading in
Mhm.
ways that feel authentic to me. Before, I think I would
Mhm.
have been more attracted to the feeling space of being with women,
Mhm.
but right now it seems like I'm what's in my field is men
Yeah.
who are, yeah, safe and supportive, so that feels good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so important with so much divide and conquer out there to step outside of that narrative and be like, yeah, it's not everybody. It really is not everybody. There
Yeah.
really are places where I can experience the masculine energy and feel completely comfortable to grow. And that's it's
Right?
really good. Yeah.
Like, that is, like, the most, and honestly, for me, and I know, and I had shared with Kim before kind of coming on, I've stayed out of partnership the last 4 years since being divorced for that reason.
Mhm.
Really knocked my head hard on that one. So, um, lessons still integrating. Um,
Yeah.
but I think, sweet Jesus. But I think, like I love when you laugh. When I laugh, it makes me laugh, and then I laugh more. Um, yeah, it's such a, important piece for me to integrate with my chart, with my story, with everything, to have, really safe and supportive males in my life that are
Mhm.
neutral, that it's not coming from a place of any secondary gain or, other whatever things that happen is, really healing for me, really healing for my soul, like, so nourishing, and,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm curious to see how that continues to kind of develop. I feel like relationships for me, as I kind of integrate this piece and really kind of trust the masculine a little bit more, will show up in something really juicy.
Yeah. I love it. And thank you for sharing all that. And um the tentative trajectory is that this show would then turn into something where Taylor joins on Thursdays, and we do what's called Therapy Thursdays. And we would go live and then ask questions. So just throwing
Oh,
it out there that that's kind of what's in the think tank right now. And we'll just keep showing up every Thursday and see how it continues to grow. And I
Yeah.
guess
Oh,
anything else that you want to say in closing?
well, do you wanna share what you do? I don't think I shared what I did, so maybe that might
Oh
be
yeah, we don't
helpful.
even have to close. I just looked at it's 12. I didn't even, I just
Oh,
kind of was
yeah,
instinctually, no, 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 I don't have to go. So share what I do as far as, yeah,
so people
thank
know.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh,
I live in Sedona, Arizona. I am a trauma informed equine assisted breakthrough coach. And I have 4 beautiful, magical horses that are just, well, I'm a little biased, but they're the best. And then 2 dogs. And as a team, um, we help humans move through trauma and blockages and guide them on their true north trail and, yeah, to live their best life, hopefully.
love that. Thank you for sharing.
Did you hold on? Yeah, I thought it. Nope, we're still going.
I'll share. I'm a licensed therapist. First, those are my, I guess, credentials, but I am essentially a channel and a writer. And yeah, so I kind of have been integrating some of those pieces into my practice and yeah, really showing up and trying to figure out what that looks like. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, well, I guess we'll call it a show and I'll see you here same time, same channel. And yes, until then, have a beautiful day and a beautiful week. Peace.